Hello everyone and welcome to the Liveli and MapsPeople webinar, Make Your Corporate Office COVID Safe with Indoor Mapping. Obviously we're at a real crossroads at the moment in the Asia Pacific region. We've been lucky to be able to flatten the curve and we're talking about returning to work at the moment. So we thought this would be a great opportunity for MapsPeople and Liveli to get together and talk about some of the ways that you can implement location intelligence into your corporate office environment to keep people safe that you work with. Today on the webinar, we have Oliver Looker, who's the General Manager of Liveli, joining us. And we've also got Christian Mugler joining us from Denmark, I believe. Christian, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Hi.
Thank you so much, Christian, for being here today. Christian's a MapsPeople Regional Sales Manager, and he's going to take us through a demo of MapsIndoors Lite and actually what it does. So the agenda today, we're going to do a quick introduction to Liveli. We're going to have a look at the current state of play of COVID-19 in Australia, an introduction to MapsPeople. We're going to talk about what MapsIndoors Lite is, some of its key functionality and features, and we'll finish up with a Q&A. So right now, I'll hand over to Oliver Looker, the General Manager of Liveli.
Thanks, Sarah, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. As Sarah says, I'm the General Manager for Liveli, and Liveli is all about providing simple solutions for your business needs and centered around location. So we have been using location technology for over 25 years now. And as part of the early days, it was all around digitizing paper maps and making them digital. And then over the last sort of 10 years or so, we've forged really strong partnerships, in particular with Google and Google Maps, but also Google Cloud, as we learn to do more on our digital transformations and being able to modernize our applications, so using both Google Cloud and Google Maps. And so we're premier partners with those platforms. And then more recently, late last year, we formed a partnership with MapsPeople and the MapsIndoors platform. And I just wanted to share a bit of a story as to how the partnership with MapsPeople came about. So last year, we had a booth at the Google Cloud Summit, and that was at the Sydney Convention Centre. And we really wanted to, we had an opportunity to really launch Liveli, and we wanted to showcase what Liveli was all about, and that's seeing location and location intelligence in action. So we set up a visualization to show the movement of people within the convention centre and at the summit in real time. So we set up some Wi-Fi and some other sort of devices to capture the movement of data, but we did that in a way that wasn't intrusive at all. So privacy of people's data wasn't compromised. And as you can see on the slide there, you can see the heat mapping, the cold spots, the hot spots of where people were moving throughout the course of the day. This created so much discussion and interest at our particular booth. And then we started talking about the concept of indoor navigation and wayfinding. Also, people were talking about the blue dot. So for people that don't know, the blue dot shows your location, typically when you're outside based on the GPS in your phone, and you can see that on the map and you can see where I am and where I need to go. But also, how do we get that blue dot from the outdoor to the indoor when we're within a building? So based on that need that was expressed at the Google Summit, we basically went on a fact-finding mission, worked closely with our Google partner to find a solution out there that can do all this wayfinding for us, indoor wayfinding in particular. And so on the back of a really high recommendation from Google, MapsPeople were introduced to us. So like I say, very highly recommended. And because they have very similar sort of culture to us in that they're Google partners, you know, medium sort of sized business, have been in the mapping game for a long time, and so have a very strong knowledge around the principles and concepts of location and wayfinding and all these sort of things. And not to mention the product. So MapsIndoors provides really Google Maps for indoors, so that wayfinding from outside. So say if I'm you know, wanting to go to a university class at my university at a lecture theatre, I can go from at home and have that seamless navigation all the way through to the parking area at the university, all the way through to that lecture theatre. And so that seamless experience and how that's achieved, the MapsPeople guys with their MapsIndoors platform have been able to achieve that. So that's, you know, very appealing to us. And the other, I suppose, unique benefit as well is that it's built on Google Maps. Everyone uses Google Maps. So it provides a platform where there's no barriers to entry, and people get it, right? Because, I mean, Sarah, did you use Google Maps today when you went out to that cafe that was open post-COVID?
Yeah, no, I did actually. There's a new feature available in Google Maps that lets you know if people are temporarily closed at the moment. So I had to try and find a coffee shop that is actually open for takeaway at the moment. So yes, I did do that.
So you got all that information dynamically available in the palm of your hand, and that's very appealing for us. And that's why the partnership with MapsPeople was born, to be able to take this platform to the ANZ market. And the whole, I suppose, unique selling point and the capability that the platform provides has really been sort of amplified, if you like, during this, you know, this challenging time around the COVID-19 and the COVID-19 pandemic. And different countries have been dealing with the pandemic in their own ways, but really there's been some critical sort of restrictions and regulations being put in place, particularly in Australia and New Zealand. And some of the states and the different jurisdictions are a little bit different. But we've had to, you know, obviously lift our game in terms of maintaining sort of hand hygiene and general cleanliness. So that has an impact. Also, social distancing. You know, everyone's talking about social distancing. It's a new term now that's probably in the dictionary. And there's a whole bunch of other sort of rules and regulations we need to adhere to. If we think about some of these things, they naturally have a location element, social distancing, you know, 1.5 meters. But then think about, you know, where the economy is and the need to get the economy running again. You know, we need to be going back to work. We need to be opening up businesses and getting the balance right, obviously, between working from home and, you know, working at home, working within the office. Sorry. So as you can see, yeah, different jurisdictions are at different sort of points in that recovery sort of process. So we're locally in WA and some of the other states, you know, we can have gatherings of up to 20 people, but there's a real strong push to obviously get to the next step 3, and be able to, you know, return to the workplace, have, you know, larger gatherings, and to be able to get some level of, you know, normality back in place. And that is a crucial element to the whole capability that MapsIndoors can provide. Because if we think about a particular example, and we're talking about, you know, maybe some of the larger sort of workplaces. So if you got a big office with hundreds of sort of, you know, cubicles and these sort of things, as a business owner or a facilities manager or an operations type manager, you're responsible for the safety of those workers. So you've got these government regulations in one hand, and maintaining the safety of the community and your workers, but on the other hand, you need to start getting your business, bringing your business back to life. So we need to manage the cleanliness of the work office, but you need to be able to communicate that too, to say, hey, these areas are closed off, these areas are functional. The other thing, since just this week, the Liveli team have come back to the office only for 1 or 2 days. And the real confusing thing is the entry and the exit. So we've always had the same door, the same entry, which is our same exit as well. But now we've had to adjust that. So we're just putting those sort of precautions in place. And it's been really easy to manage with having the MapsIndoors digital solution to help us with that. So we can put things in there like some of the communications, any context type messaging. So where people can and can't go, we can manage that, within a website application. So that's the way I sort of see it. With COVID-19, we've got to learn to deal with these changes. This could become, hopefully it's not, but more than likely that there's going to be a degree of normality now to how we need to operate and move, not only within the workplace, but society. And we need to really be closely aligned to these regulations. And we need to have, I think we need to have very practical tools to help us with that. And I think that's where MapsIndoors can really provide that digital tool to assist with getting back to work safely. So I think I'll hand over Christian now to talk about the MapsIndoors Lite product.
Thanks, Oliver. So I will just take over the slide deck, and let me just give me a sec. Great. So I will start just to introduce you guys first to MapsPeople in numbers. So as you can see, mapping has been our core business since over 125 years. Our headquarters, as Sarah mentioned, is in Denmark, but we also have offices in the US, and now we're expanding in the APAC. Since over 10 years, we are also Google Premium Partner, and with 16 nationalities in-house, we can consider ourselves as really international. So our indoor navigation platform called MapsIndoors is basically more than just an indoor wayfinding solution. Our platform can guide people seamlessly from outdoor to indoor. It's uniquely built with Google Maps technology, and it can be easily integrated with other third-party systems. So with decision situations where lockdowns are being lifted, where shops, restaurants, and even now offices are opening again, the question comes up, how will your company organize, implement, and communicate a return to the workspace for their employees? So even though like the offices are opening again, the virus hasn't disappeared yet, right? So in order to focus on social distancing, as Oliver mentioned, and focus on hygiene and specifically to protect the employees, we believe that we can help companies guide them through this period. So, and that's why we have created MapsIndoors Lite, which is a solution that allows you to assess and indicate low and high risk workspace areas. It also can suggest you specific routes for specific types of profiles or groups, and much more that I would like to present you in the next coming slides. So based on the situation that we are, I will share like 5 challenges that company can face and how MapsIndoors can help them. As a first challenge, you can ask yourself, which facilities can I use as an employee? There might be situations where the return of employees is done in phases. Then it's important also to maintain a physical distance, and also that you would like to map which desk can be used or not. So the animated screenshot on your right shows how you can define which desks you would like to use and which not, and that can be done in our content management system, as you can see. And in addition to that, you can also color them, right? So you can color the desks that are not available maybe in red and the ones that are available in green. Moving on, how can admin get a clear overview of areas ready for use? So for this purpose, you can view the MapsIndoors dashboard to see how many desks and rooms that are on each location type across floors and buildings. So through the dashboard, you can view the full inventory of your corporate office. Then the third challenge shows that employees might use the same routes, meaning the same entrance, the same stairs, elevators, and that of course can increase the risk of infection. So with MapsIndoors Lite, you can give specific routes to specific users. You can, for example, divide the employees into groups that will use the different stairs, the different entrances, toilets, meeting rooms. So in that way, you can basically you can not only control how people are moving inside your corporate office, but you can also minimize the risk of contagion. And by the way, you can also use this solution for visitors, customers, and partners that come to your office. Furthermore, how can users see if rooms areas are treated differently? So you can use the so-called draw area tool in the content management system to color areas that are restricted for employees or certain types of groups. Or you can, of course, also colorate areas that can be permitted to visit. So seeing the different areas that on a map can give the employees a sense of security, and that in turn, of course, can improve also their work assignment. And finally, the last challenge that I would like to share is, how can I, as an employee, have a full overview of the new office plan? So you, as a company, can label employees and show where they're located, or you can also create aliases if you want to avoid labeling. So meaning you can find your employees using the search function. So for example, in case of someone gets sick, the managers can easily see the employee that have been placed closest to the person in concern. And for that reason, you can also take the right decision in order to avoid the spreading of the virus. Here you can see once again the 5 features that are included in the MapsIndoors Lite solution. So you can highlight which desk can be used or not. You can view the full inventory of all rooms, desks, and so on. You can assign different stairs, meeting rooms to different groups or people. We can show restricted and permitted areas and allow employees to view the updated seating plans. So what are the requirements and the timeline to implement the MapsIndoors Lite solution. So, being aware of the necessity and demand, and last but not least, also the urgency, we can deliver this solution in 7 days. This requires, of course, that we, as a first step, will get a detailed venue information, such as a floor plan in terms of CAD file. We also have to know, of course, the size of the building. And then to move on, we would organize a kickoff meeting to discuss the tasks. We would digitalize and develop the solution. We would do some testing, and finally, deliver the solution. So basically, to summarize, the MapsIndoors Lite solution and what it's all about, you can see it here. So first, as I mentioned, it is ready in 7 days, but it depends, of course, on the quality of the CAD files, and then also we would need to know the size. Then furthermore, you do not use you don't need any on-site installation from our side, so it's 100% remote setup. There you can also fully control your map solution in the content management system. The MapsIndoors Lite will be delivered as a web solution. So in case you would need to integrate it in your existing mobile application or kiosk solution, you would need a full license. And then finally, the MapsIndoors Lite solution is a 6-month license, and it costs 5,000 euros for 25,000 square meters. Yes, so then that will lead us to the questions, I guess.
Great, thank you so much, Christian. Just take back that screen now. So now we're going to move on to some questions. So we've had some questions come through from some of our listeners while you were presenting there, Christian. So the first one that's come through, which is probably best for you, is what do I do as a what do I as a customer need to deliver? Your slide said a CAD file. What else? Christian, would you like to answer that one?
Sure. So we need to know, of course, the size of the building that you want to map, and based on that, we would need the floor plans, as I mentioned. So in terms of CAD files, including also some map data as room IDs, for example.
Great, thank you for that. So I've got one here for Oliver, which is, can I integrate MapsIndoors Lite with our booking system? Oliver, do you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. The short answer is yes. You can integrate any service. I think one of the key I suppose lenses or parameters when we're looking at an indoor wayfinding platform when we were assessing the market was the openness and the ability to integrate. And MapsIndoors, tick that box. It's an open platform, so if you've got any sort of web service or API, you can integrate. So perhaps if you've got a booking system, whether it's for meeting rooms or for booking a shuttle bus, a seat on a shuttle bus, or integrating in maybe with an e-commerce type platform or a point of sale type platform where you can do contactless payments, the world's your oyster. You can integrate any service with the MapsIndoors platform.
Thank you. And another one straight up again for you, Oliver, which is, does MapsIndoors require a Google Maps license?
Yes. Yes is the short answer to that one. And that's the beautiful thing about MapsIndoors, is that it's built on Google Maps. So you can securely and safely add your office data and augment that with Google Maps. But because you are having a secure access to the Google Maps, you need to have your own license for that.
Okay, great. Christian, one here for you, which is, can we upgrade a MapsIndoors Lite solution to a regular MapsIndoors solution after the 6 months, and how is that possible?
Yes, absolutely. So you can upgrade your MapsIndoors Lite solution to a standard MapsIndoors yearly subscription. For example, you can add more buildings if necessary, or even integrate in your existing mobile app or kiosk solution, as I mentioned earlier. That is absolutely possible.
Great, thank you. And another one for you, Christian. Somebody has asked that they've said, we have got 150,000 square meters of office space. Is this something that you can handle?
Yeah. So the MapsIndoors Lite solution that I presented includes up to 25,000 square meters, and that can be delivered in 7 days. We can, of course, also map an office area of 150,000 square meters, but this would, of course, require more time than 7 days.
Great. And sorry, Christian, we're going to overload you with like 3 questions in a row here, but we've had a question come through asking if you've already implemented this solution for other organizations. Are you able to shed some light on that?
Yeah, sure. So, if we talk about the corporate office world, we have customers like JP Morgan Chase, LinkedIn, Coles, and we also even have worked with smart office software products that have implemented our MapsIndoors solution into their end product. So it's something that we see is in high demand, and because we can help, of course, people navigate inside the office building, and especially in this transition phase where people need some work safety and are unsecure on how to do that. We're here to help.
Awesome, thank you. Had a really relevant question come through, given that we are an Australia and New Zealand based organisation, and that is about the pricing. So Oliver, one of the slides actually said that this is 5,000 euros. We've had somebody ask a question about what that would be, roughly ballpark figure in Aussie dollars, to implement MapsIndoors Lite.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a good question around the pricing. So at the end of the day, we're just using the current Forex exchange rate. So it's a really competitive price. So you're looking around that sort of $8,500 to $9,000, $9,000 sort of ballpark. But yeah, obviously we're at the mercy of the exchange rate. So hopefully the Aussie dollar doesn't fall through the floor again.
Hopefully not. Christian, we have a question that's just come through here, which is just asking how long you're going to make MapsIndoors Lite available. I know there's probably a lot of location technology providers out there at the moment who are creating products to respond to COVID-19. I think many of them have expiry dates on them. Is that the case with MapsIndoors Lite? How long will it be available for?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's basically available as long as you have the need for it. So the MapsIndoors Lite solution has been created to help corporate offices and their employees to get back to a safe working environment, especially during this transition. And this is why it can be implemented really fast if needed. And so again, being aware that certain countries are still like in the lockdown, others are being lifted. We are really flexible and can really adapt ourselves and help the companies that have a need for it.
Awesome. And we've got time for just one more question, which I think this is going to be for you, Oliver. We've got somebody asking a question about the fact that this is a MapsPeople product. What's Liveli's role in that? Who do we talk to if we're interested?
Yeah, absolutely. So you talk to Lively, so talk to myself or the Lively team. So Liveli are the ANZ channel partners for the Maps with MapsPeople and for the MapsIndoors product. So yeah, if you've got any questions or any needs around, I suppose, what was presented today, or in relation to using location technology, reach out to the team at Liveli.
Thank you, Oliver. So that's all we've got time for today, everybody. We really hope that you're all keeping well, keeping safe. We hope that we've provided you with something today that's really going to help you as you make that transition back to work and to help keep your team safe. Like Oliver mentioned, you know, we have to look after each other at the moment, but we also need to figure out how we're going to get back to business and do that in a safe way. So we really want to thank you all for participating. If you have any questions at all, let us know. You'll receive this webinar recording very shortly via email, but our team's always here to help. Thank you so much, Oliver and Christian, for attending, and we hope that you'll all join us for another webinar soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah.